like to do, but you just keep on talking. I see your dog needs walking. Your folk drive you insane. I know, yeah, that's true. Of course, you ain't the one to blame. Keep on talking to me. You keep on telling me your dreams. You keep on talking to me. But I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. Wanna see you move. Sure, I like to listen. It's not like I don't wanna know. It's just that you've been talking to me 3 nights in a row. I think it's time to let go. Forget the past, just lose control. 'Cause life's too short for yapping. Come on and dance, come give me soul. You keep on talking to me. You keep on talking to me. You keep on talking. You keep on talking to me. You keep on telling me your dreams. To me. You keep on talking, but I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move.
Here we go, I put this miserable song on repeat. 'Cause you seem to forget how much you are hurting me. Do what's right, you say you will, but then you don't. You just don't. You don't care, 'cause you don't take me seriously. What's there to repair if you don't wanna talk to me? You should know your time is up, I'm out, I'm done. So I'm putting you on a lifetime sentence, and you'll no longer feel my presence. So you thought I would let this live, thought you knew me so much better. You're on a lifetime sentence, so now you never feel my presence. So you thought I would let this live, thought you knew me so much better. So you thought I would let this live, thought you knew me so much better. Yeah, yeah. So you thought I would let this live. No, that's right. Your words don't mean a thing to me. Sleepless night, your love has left us incomplete. Thinking that your promises will fit so loud. No, that's right. So I'm putting you on a lifetime sentence, and you'll no longer feel my presence. So you thought I would let this live, thought you knew me so much better. You're on a lifetime sentence, so now you never feel my presence. So you thought I would let this live, thought you knew me so much better. 'Cause I don't. So you thought I would let this live, thought you knew me so much better. Oh no. So you thought I would let this live. So I put you on a lifetime sentence, and now you never feel my presence. So you thought I would let this live,
this moment.
Yes.
I cannot say what's wrong or right.
No.
It's not hard to fool me.
No.
'Cause I'm addicted to the good life.
Yes.
Yeah. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say.
No.
Where we are heading now, babe. I follow. To the edge of it all. To the edge of it all. So tell your good lies. 'Cause I'll buy no matter what. Yeah. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. Ooh. So tell your good lies. 'Cause I'll buy no matter what.
City, age, gender,
it's not a problem.
No.
'Cause I know what I'm getting into.
Yes.
Yeah. And nothing can stop me.
No.
'Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say. Where we are heading now, babe. I follow. To the edge of it all. So tell your good lies. 'Cause I'll buy no matter what. Yeah. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. Before it flies. So tell your good lies. 'Cause I'll buy no matter what. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. Yeah.
Woo! What's going on? What's going on? What is going on? Shout out to the CIA, the confident, intelligent, and assertive men out there. One love to the FBI, you feminine, beautiful, inspirational ladies. God dog, I'm happy to see you sexy, sexy, sexy. Some of my bombs back up in here. Shout out to all my lovely patrons. Appreciate it. You make these shows possible. Shout out to everybody over in my online group called The Mix. It is getting crack-a-lacking over there. And I just announced it there. I'm going to announce it here. Starting when I feel it's safe, we're going to have quarterly mixers around the country. That's right, around the country. Of course, first we're going to start here in Atlanta and then just see what happens, Captain. While a lot of people are talking about this or that and gender war over here, that over there, people are getting together over there doing business, networking. I actually I've heard a couple of folks that actually got flued out somewhere. See, men put some paint where it ain't. We show our work. I ain't perfect, never plan to be, never claim to be. But you do what you can with what you can. So, let's do this. Before we get into this, some housekeeping, some ground rules. Number one, be respectful. Be respectful. Keep it cool, keep it classy. Gentlemen, I expect some pushback. I even expect some challenging questions. But I won't have disrespect either way. The body's on. If you're in there cursing, the F word, not cool. Calling women B's, not cool. It's already calibrated to catch you. If it catches you and I see you, I'm gonna talk to you. More than one time, we're gonna tap you on out of here. Ladies, understand something. We understand a lot of women coming over here from different spaces. Stop coming in here with the same old talking points everywhere else. Talk to the guys over here about what's over here, if you will. Again, I don't mind pushback. I don't mind challenging stuff, but not going to have anybody just antagonizing anybody either way it goes. That's number one. Number two, we need to get the likes up, keep the likes up. When I want at least the engagement percentage over 60%. That's not too much to ask for. So while we're thinking about it, I know y'all got excited coming over here. Do me a favor, go on back over there and hit that like or dislike button, whichever one you like is your opinion. That's cool. And also, if you could, fully, almost 50% of the people who come watch this channel on a regular basis haven't subscribed. What the French toast? Man, you know you're going to get over here and talk to your godfather every now and then. So you know you're going to come over here and kiss the ring. When you kiss the ring, subscribe. Don't make me have to send Fredo and them coming to look for you. Come on over here and do what you're supposed to do. All right, seriously, go ahead and subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps you. You know, and you need to make sure when you turn the notification bell, YouTube is playing them games. If you subscribe and you don't turn notifications to all, it only gives you occasional. Then you're going to see stuff after it didn't happen, after replays. Some of it may have been chopped and screwed. You want to get in and have your conversation and be like, oh man, I missed that show the other day. I sure wish I could have came over there and got my opinion heard. That's how you do it. So, before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button. You know how to donate. You know how to contribute. Moderators, keep it cool. I have to talk about something. How many people saw last night's show? How many people saw last night's broadcast? If you did, do me a favor, raise your hand and tell me what you thought of the show. I thought it was pretty interesting. For those of you who weren't paying attention, last night's show was entitled "She Doesn't Want to Act This Way. She doesn't want to be this way." And it was my attempt to actually give voice to some of the things I've heard many black women say they feel is holding them back when it comes to relationship, not dating, but relationship. See, dating is easy. Hooking up is easy. Sex is easy. Relationship is hard. So, that's what the broadcast was about last night. And in the context of last night's broadcast, I was taking calls from people. And, as usual, I'm always open to hear what people have to say. Always open to hear what people have to say, whether we agree or whether we disagree. I'm open. But the funny thing is, last night, it's kind of sad because I woke up and now, first of all, I don't think anybody could accuse me of being, rude, unnecessarily rude. Just that dude. Some people may not like that I'm a little bit more direct, but that's something. But last night, I got to tell you, I woke up and I had one of the strangest messages I had ever seen. Y'all want to talk about it? Yeah, let's talk about it. Can anybody guess what happened this morning when I woke up? Anybody? Anybody? Well, I don't know if you can guess, But I'm going to tell you what happened. It looks like she may have tried to remove it. That's too bad. It don't matter. I got what I needed anyway. Last night, I got a message after the show. And it said, can you please take that video down? You did not tell me you were going to show my face on your YouTube channel. That is such an invasion of privacy. When I listen to you, and I regularly agree, I listen and agree with you regularly. I never saw you do that to any of your guests. How many people on the YouTube channel who watch me? How many of the YouTube people? How many people who watch my channel have never seen me actually allow the Zoom callers to be on the screen? I mean, it's a public show. And let this be known for everyone. If you want my one-on-one advice, feel free to go to my website, book your time, and let's talk about it privately. But if you call into a public show, I don't know, you have no expectation of privacy in public. That's ridiculous. And it wouldn't have been so bad if these things wouldn't have happened. You completely embarrassed me. Okay? I completely embarrassed you. Trying to make me seem as something I'm not. And as usual, there goes on about you don't know the full story. And I'm not going to get into the details of the message because I do like to keep private stuff private. But the overall tone and tenor was as though I did something wrong. And then you had the nerve to say, I see why women complain about your program. Let me get this right. You called into a public show with over 1,000 people watching, and I invaded your privacy. I did something to you by allowing you to speak. I didn't edit you. It was your own words. I didn't chop and screw. It happened real time. But I did this to you. And now you're going to say why other women complain, which is funny because I started that show off yesterday talking about a comment I got from one woman. But when I get 20 plus comments the other way, I get, for every 1 or 2 negative comments, I get 30 or 40, 50 positive ones from women. I don't see what these women don't get, but let's get on and do it. As she mentioned, she's a 32-year-old woman and independent, and that's all. That's good. I eat healthy. Great. You made me look, you made me look crazy. This is again, I did this. I made her look crazy by just what? But I wanted to hear it out because I need you to understand. I asked the question, who can be honest with women? Who can be honest in particular with black women? And even when it's always your fault. Ladies, see, when you hear men speak and it sounds like men are whining and complaining to you, it's always somewhere a man's fault, especially for these women I've been talking about. You made me look crazy. I'm aware of my age and I don't look it. You took what you wanted from the conversations to make me look bad. How can I take anything from any conversation that's live in public? Again, it was not edited. And as it goes on down, she starts talking about some other things that she feels are feathers in her cap. Okay. So please block my face or take it down. I go to conferences and you made me look delusional. Let me tell you something, lady. Let me tell you something. I didn't do anything to you. If you felt like you looked delusional, because honestly, when I'm sitting there looking at you, the way in which you were speaking on the camera last night, if you were not looking at the same Zoom screen and the same YouTube, all that eye rolling and all this other kind of stuff, I thought you were looking down in the chat room because you saw what the other people were saying. Because I noticed that you didn't do all that until your picture actually went public, which it is a Zoom screen. But let me get on into it. Seeing as though I made you look a certain way, and I made you this, I made you that, and it's all my fault. Okay, I got it. Got something for you. Here's what we're going to do, sis. Here's what we're going to do. Here is what we're going to do. Here what we're going to do. I don't like to have anybody do crap like that. Saying I did something to you. I did this. I did that. Wow. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow the audience to decide. I'm going to allow the audience to decide. But I want to replay, but I want to be fair. I want to be fair. And I did not blur your face out, ma'am. I did not blur your face out because one, I'm busy. I'm busy and I don't have time to go and take the time, the hours to go back and do that. If you wanted private consultation, you should have booked a private session. But I'm going to defend myself. And I'm not going to be rude. But because I can't blur your face out. Okay? Can't blur your face out. We're going to move on to something else. But let me go ahead and say a few things. One, the start of this broadcast was, why do 4's think they deserve 9's? And since when did calling someone average become an insult? When did that happen? When did it happen that people who were average all of a sudden expected damn near perfection? Shout out to Rebecca Lynn Pope, the reason she no longer matchmakes for black women. And this is far more a thing. Yeah, black men have their fantasy also, but men are checked by the real world. I'm going to talk about male fantasy, this whole poly thing that guys in the middle class, $50,000 a year dudes talk about polyamorous relationships. You out of your freaking mind. You think that's going to happen the norm for average? No. I'm going to get into that later on this week, but this takes priority. Only because the way in which this woman wrote an entire comment wall at me like I did something to her. I'm invading your privacy and I'm this and I'm that and I'm da, and how dare you, and I see why women don't. Whoa. The normal, average, everyday people wanting 9's and 10's. The whole thing is the term 49er is linked to the San Francisco NFL football team, and it's also linked to an ever-growing amount of people, women in particular, who expect expect and near demand near perfection, 9's and 10's, when they aren't that themselves. Let me go ahead and clear some things out. One of the reasons you get 49ers is one, they used to be big. Why do you get 49ers? Well, because you used to have a woman who was overweight, and now she's lost weight or got in shape. You know, a woman that was a size 15 or size 16 who's now dressed size 4. Congratulations. You are a healthy weight for a female. You're just normal. Women used to be 120 pounds. That's not a Herculean feat, ma'am. That's just norm. You have no children. We were watching Love Jones the other day. And they were we were seeing Nia Long and all these other people in that movie, and you could see Nia Long's collarbones and her waist. The woman on there who was Nia Long's best friend, Lisa Nicole Carson, look her up. This was a really voluptuous black woman in the 90s. She was on the TV show Ally McBeal before she had her mental issues that came up that shortened her career. Lisa Nicole Carson would be considered on the thinner side today, from her waist on down. That was just 22 years ago. So let me get this straight. You can have a normal body, but that does not make you hotter. Just because you drop weight does not mean that your face is any better. That just means you've increased your chances, but you still look how you look. And that's okay. Your resume and your balance sheet only matters to men after you pass their attractiveness, their hotness. Men don't care about your career and the amount of money you make. And understand something. I said it last night on last night's broadcast. It's not like you're a high earning executive. You're an average earner. On the East Coast, all these things are public. In an NFL city, where the cost of living is higher than it is in Atlanta, Dallas, Houston. The amount of money women like you make in that city would translate to about half to maybe a third less. So you'd have to take a pay cut. Now, to take a pay cut, it would be an adjustment. Average looking, average earning, but then you want 9's and 10's. And see, the problem with these kind of women is, with women who think like this, is they look at men who would, in days gone by, would have been perfectly matched with them, but they look down on these guys. They want to try to use them, manipulate them, look over them, shun them. I'll let you listen. And just because a man will have sex with you does not mean he will marry you. Bottom line, ladies, hear me and hear me well. You need to look like his income lane. Your face needs to look like his income lane. The whole having a banging body has always existed. In hip hop, street culture, it's called a butterface. She's got a banging body, but her face is trash. We've always had butter faces. Women used to understand that you had to compensate like men if you weren't born hitting the genetic lottery with your facial symmetry. Only now can you have people be out of shape, overweight, and then not be attractive, and then have a bad attitude and still think you should have a rich man. Nutsy. Let me also say another thing. Tattoos, For high value men, tattoos are garbage. They're garbage. High value men don't like tattoos on women, and big tattoos are trash. So let's get into it. Let's see. But before we get into this, guys, we need to get the likes up to over 800, and we're gonna need to get the let's see what we're doing as far as the donations and things like that, because I want this to be understood. I don't want anybody to be rude, but I'm gonna let this play. Let's get them up. Are we ready? Are we ready to go? And because I don't want to get any kind of and not that I could get a strike or a flag. I'm trying to be reasonable. Trying to be reasonable. Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do. Let's do it this way. If I play it here, look choppy. But you know what? I'll do it that way. I'll play it to where it won't look choppy. Okay? And ma'am, you're more than welcome to call in after the show if you like. But let's do this like this. How are we doing tonight, folks? We good? We good? When I say an average woman, this is what I mean as far as, average dress sizes and all that stuff. Here's a 4 and here's a 6. UK 4, UK 6. You kind of see what you're talking about. So this is a 4 on a 5'1" woman, a 5'4" woman. Here's a 6 on a 5'4", 5'1", and a 5'4" woman. Do we understand? Okay? We understand what it looks like. Cool? Let's go. Can you hear me?
Second.
Okay, there's a delay because when I ask you a question, it's about 5 seconds before you respond. I'm gonna handle you body count, guys, in a minute, but you're telling on yourselves, so you really should stop. Okay, you're 32, and that means if you're dating men who are older than you, let's say you're dating men 10 years older than you, 7 years older. A lot of guys have 50% of the guys are gonna have kids.
Right.
And you don't. And you're saying how to deal with that?
So basically, how to decide who's a good candidate to have children with if they already have children.
You want to know how to decide who's a good candidate to have children with if they already have children?
Right, because if they already have children, I'm kind of committed to.
Okay, listen. Look at their children. Are you guys hearing that, fan? Are you guys hearing that okay? Are you guys hearing that okay? I hope so. let's do it this way. Let's see if we can do it. I don't want to be all choppy. Have children with if they already have children?
Right, because if they already have children, I'm kind of committed to.
Okay, listen. Look at their children.
Okay.
That's the surest indicator. If they already have children and you want to know whether or not they're a good candidate of which to have children by, right? Look at the work. Look at the kids. If he has quote unquote good kids, especially if he has custody of them, then that means he's doing a good job. Does that not make sense?
It does.
The question is, I thought your question was more or less along the lines of you're not wanting to date guys with kids.
I don't mind. I would like to date someone who doesn't have children.
Well,
Realistic.
unfortunately, are you actively or seriously dating anyone right now?
No.
Do you want to get married?
Yes.
Do you want to have children?
Yes.
Unfortunately, you waited so long.
What?
You should have been married 10 years ago. Have you ever been in a serious relationship or been proposed to? Uh-oh.
Serious relationship.
He said, you cleared your throat on that one. Well, what happened? How long? What happened?
I don't know.
Nobody can see you.
Wasn't ambitious enough for me.
Huh?
Wasn't ambitious enough for me.
He wasn't ambitious enough for you. Okay. And how long were you guys together?
About 8 years.
Did you say 8 years?
I was very young.
Girl, you 32. What was you, 5? Come on, sis. Come on, sis. You say you were with a dude for 8 years, and the reason you didn't marry him is because he wasn't ambitious enough. Then you're going to follow it up and say you was young. Boo, come on.
After that, I became ambitious, focused on my goals,
Okay.
and stopped dating.
Okay. All right. So,
That's
so,
how we led to here.
so well, when you say ambitious, what does that mean?
Just wanting more out of life, focusing on a better lifestyle.
Does that mean more money?
Comfortability.
Comfortable. Does that mean more money?
Yes.
All right. Just say you just wanted more money. Stop prettying it up. So, did you go to college?
I didn't finish.
All right. So, so what do you do for a living? If he wasn't ambitious enough for you,
I prefer not to disclose that. I work.
well, now you call and ask me the question. So here's the thing. Okay,
I
I'll just go
prefer
down.
not to disclose that.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's where I go down. See, I find it interesting that women like that. Unfortunately, there's so many sisters like you that are getting in this position. You're with somebody for 8 years, then all of a sudden he wasn't good enough because a light came, and it almost seems like the way you guys tell the story. All of a sudden, some light came on, and then he wasn't ambitious enough. All right, but see, what I need to hear after that is you're like the VP of marketing. That's what I need to hear. That I was with somebody for 8 years, and we were both just middle income people. You know, both high school graduates. No one went to college. We both right there in the middle. Then all of a sudden, you know, I graduated or something. Then I just went from here to there, and he wasn't ambitious enough. But what I tend to find is most women are still kind of right where they were They're just looking for a man with more money later in life.
I can say that
You start
that
break.
is not my situation. I actually am further than I was.
Well, here's the thing.
I can
Okay.
say that that is not my situation. I am actually further than I was.
All right. Well, here's the thing. Whatever your situation is, I don't know what the big deal is, but um, here's the net of it. 32 years old. There's a looks component. Um, there's especially if you want to be a. Do you want to work after you have children?
I don't mind working part time. I would like to work for my husband's company.
Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills?
No,
Right. So you don't want to have to work. How many children do you want? Would you like to
right.
have? Huh? How many
Two
children?
to three.
2 to 3. 2 to 3 children. So again, we're talking about these men in the $300,000 plus range. That's those men, $300,000 plus range, to have a wife that doesn't work and have 3 children. That's a What percentage of men do you think make $300,000, well, $325,000 or more? Out of 100% of men, what percentage of men do you think fits that?
10%.
Say again, I couldn't hear you.
10%, 20%.
10% or 20%? 10 to 20% of men make $300,000 or more. Oh damn! No, ma'am. Those men are in the top 1% of men. 99 out of 100 men don't make that amount of money.
Okay.
This is kind of part of the issue, that a lot of women want something that's unrealistic for them. Most men don't make that. So if there were 100 black 20% of men make $300,000 or more, you know, hey, in what life can an average woman ever expect to get a man who's in the top 1%? Most men don't make $100,000. Wait till we get on later on this week talking about a lot of black women and your crazy fixation on a man's height. So, ma'am, you asked me not to show your picture. Okay, but I got to show something. Got to show something. Black men, one would make that amount of money. And why would that one pick a woman who's, and the guys who make that amount of money, if they're already making it, they're going to pick the youngest, hottest woman they can get. They don't pick women in their 30s. And if they did pick a woman in her 30s, he's going to be in his late 40s or 50s. And she's still got to be smoking hot. The man who makes that kind of money is likely not.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'm not a mud duck.
I'm not a mud duck.
And I'm not looking for an extreme amount of income. I'm just looking
Whoa.
to have a
What do you mean when you say you're not looking for an extreme?
relationship
You say you're not
with
looking for an extreme
a
amount of income. You
person.
said you're not looking for an extreme amount of income. You said you want to get married and you
I
love.
said I was looking for a comfortable relationship.
Okay.
You put the number of 300,000. I didn't. I
Well,
just said comfortable.
okay. I put the number there because that's how much it cost. I didn't just pull it out of my butt. I run the numbers. I pulled the numbers,
Okay.
and
Okay.
and what I'm trying to tell you, ma'am, is if you think 10 to 20% of men earn $300,000, no offense, but my grasp of the number is probably more in tune with the reality. And if you say you want a comfortable life, cool. Money to not be able to work and have 3 kids when it takes about $200,000 per child from 0 to 18. You can't do it on $80,000 a year and not have a wife that's not working.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did, you'd be living in a rental home. So when you say you're not looking for an extreme, no, you didn't put you haven't put pen to paper and know what it is you're really saying. That's cool, but you are asking for an extreme amount of money. I just filled in the other parts. You're 32. I made that video and got a bunch of pushback when women who are 4's, 5's, and 6's. The ability of the 30-plus-year-old to deflect. I'm not a mud duck. I'm not asking for an extreme amount of money. You made me look crazy. You made me look delusional. You did all this to me. All right. Find high earning men. They find them when they're in their college years or at the beginning. So when a guy's already up there, he's looking at 8's, 9's, and 10's. What would you actually, if you had to rank yourself, since you said you're not a mud duck, okay. Wait for it, my son. I did this. I'm a bad mother sucker. See, if I could do it, I should be able to undo it. Huh. And you're not. Where would you rank yourself?
If I had to rank myself, I would say overall.
You can't use 7.
Because you don't like 7,
Yeah.
right?
What would you give it?
Oh, did you hear me? I said I would give myself an 8 because you don't.
An 8, ladies and gentlemen, an 8. I'm not a mud duck. High school graduate. Philly's finest. Just super bad. She's an 8. People ask, why do you use Pam Grier? And these women from the back in the days, we need updated. No, we don't need updated nothing. We need references that we had because back in the day, you had to be natural. You could not be made up. We're going to go from this is an 8, ladies and gentlemen. When has Celie ever been an 8? When they were casting for Celie, they did not say, I need an 8. If you put my name in highlights, When they were casting for Miss Seeley, they said Suge Avery needs to look like this, and Seeley needs to look like that. They did not say that Miss Seeley need to look like an 8. You know, Suge Avery, you know, the actress that played Suge Avery, they casted her for very specific reason. It's not because the woman was not attractive. I mean, right? Am I missing something? What did I miss? Yeah, but when every average woman can think just because she's average and decides to go to do a little work on her body, she can all of a sudden decide, "Ooh, I just want a high value black man. I want a high value black man." Oh yes, no, not just the average black man because I'm an average looking woman. I want a high value black man. A 9. What did she say? I got rid of my dude, because he wasn't ambitious enough. Cool. Wasn't ambitious enough. Got no problems with it. Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. Now, see, why am I making these points? Because for the women this applies, you have no problem running down men. She had no problem talking about what he wasn't. Like, she looked like this. Suge Seeley. Suge Seeley. See Suge run. See Suge. Suge. Suge was baby mama too, by the way. But Suge had, oh, I'm sorry. Suge. An 8. What looks which two things match? Which one thing does not match? Which matches and what doesn't match? Huh? What matches, people? Does this look more like, do these look more like that? Or do any one of these look more like Miss Seeley? Miss Seeley, Miss Sister, you've been out of your mind. Sister, you're two of a kind. No, you're not. Sister, I'm keeping my one eye on you. I bet you didn't know that. You're crazy, thinking you're so fine. You're sick in the head, thinking you a dime, sister. Your old ass is running out of time. Fuck out of here. You an 8. You done ate something that done made your ass crazy is what you done. You ain't no goddamn 8. She'll shake your shimmy, sister, cause Sugar's still doing fine, but you ain't. Sugar's alright. You ain't. Woo! Hamburger joke.
Like 7.
You give yourself an 8. Okay. So that means as an 8.
I'd rather go higher than lower.
Okay. So that means you're 5'4", dress size 4, 120 pounds, tight fit. First off, just understand, over 30, even if you were a 10, when you cross 30, you automatically drop 1 point. That means you're a 9.
Okay.
Okay. And are you a tall woman or are you a shorter woman?
5'5".
5'5". And dress size.
A 6.
Dress size 6. And are you in the gym like 5 days a week?
Yes, 6.
Okay, cool. Then this is where many of these women who 49ers start to lose it. Because now you're a dress size 6. But see, the other question was, if I'd have wanted to, I'd have said, ma'am, have you always been a dress size 6? And the answer would have been, hell to the no, to the no, no, no.
Hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Hell no, no, to the no, no. Hell to the no, no, to the no, 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 no. Hell to the no, no, to the no, no, no.
Hell no, you ain't always been no dress size 6. You was a 14, 16, 15, 16. Oops. But I can see if you drop 10 dress sizes and you look at a lot of other women, how you can think, oh, I'm a sugar honey iced tea now. Well, that's only if you're looking at big girls. When you look at women who've always been dress size 6 or 4, you got no smoke for them. See, it's no different. Well, it is. See, it is different. It's different than when a man goes from being a little short, funny looking, to all of a sudden being paid, because men are judged on their resources. You can drop 10 dress sizes. That just means you're back to a healthy weight. That does not mean you're Miss Olympia, Miss America. Congratulations. You won't get diabetes, heart disease, arteriosclerosis, or fat fingers or ankles. But that does not make you a beauty queen. Don't make you a dime. It don't mean you can get a high value rich man to set your 30-plus-year-old self down. I don't know why so many of you women think that you don't have to work like every other woman in this country. And if you don't want to work, cool. But you're going to have to live on what your husband makes, and you cannot try to kill a man because he's not making what you feel like a man should make. Because you think you look a certain kind of way, which you don't. You know, that would mean likely your body is around an 8. I can't see. But I used the show Good Times, Thelma Hopkins. As a 7. I don't use 7s. Pam Grier, that's an 8. So to be an 8, you got to be like in Pam Grier's area.
I don't have the boots.
Huh? So you give.
I said that's extreme. I don't have the boots.
Well, are you watching me or are you watching YouTube? Are you watching me or are you watching YouTube?
I'm looking on Zoom.
Well, I mean, you don't have the you don't have to have the boobs. I mean, see,
She has very big boobs.
but she was also classically beautiful. I mean, and it's not uncommon for men to. No, Jessica, listen to the men. Don't listen to the women. The women can say things to soothe your feelings. The men are the ones that will ask you to be their wives. Stop listening to women. Start listening to the men. Men are the end consumer of the product, which is women. At 24 years old, it is the age in which many of your non-black colleagues, counterparts, are starting to marry. They're marrying from 21 through 24. They're having their first kid by 25. So yes, start to feel nervous. That's good, sis. Good. You need to put some pressure on it. That's right. You need to remember that your SMV is how you're ranked in this world. See, what these ladies are trying to tell you is don't worry about it, sis. Da, 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 da. But they're not a man, and they ain't got no man for you. Yes, feel that pressure. Just like men feel pressure to succeed, feel pressure to provide, to be out there for a woman. Yes, I don't take that pressure off of us. So ladies, stop trying to help young Jessica. Jessica, you're in the right place around high value men. Blake Henry, Blue Henry, Hit Squad. These are the kind of men you want to be around. And somebody's asked, how many men in this chat room making $300,000? The man on this channel does. Men on these channels do. And even if they ain't making $300,000, they're in the top. They are on their way. Guys I market to aren't in the $50,000 range. So knock it off. Trying to say that these guys over here, just because they're not $350,000 or more, that what they say don't mean anything. No, it means a whole hell of a lot. Because at the end of the day, high value men tend to flock to these spaces. Jessica, good for you. Get in the gym tomorrow. Here's what it gets right down to. At 32, if you think most guys make that amount of money, you're off base. And it requires a lot of money to have a stay-at-home wife, because a man has to. The average middle-class American makes $50,000 a year. Okay. So let's just say you and your husband were average. You're making 50, he's making 50, right? In order for you to stay at home, you'd either have to live below your means by half, or your husband would have to increase to $100,000, right? That's just the math for two people. Daycare for an infant, $200 a week. I mean, kids are expensive, and to have 1, 2, 3 and not have to work, that man is going to have to make mid 6 figures or more. And that's in Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Atlanta. Those kind of guys exist, but they are 1 out of 100. And that's not adjusting for looks, height, anything, even marital status. They're exceedingly rare. So if you want to have a comfortable life, you're going to either have to work, have fewer kids, or really, really lower your standard of living. If that's what it is. And that's what I don't think a lot of women kind of take into consideration. And why are we here? Because you said you had an 8-year relationship, and it's over because the guy wasn't ambitious enough. So that means he wasn't making enough money. All right. That means.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
So what if I'm willing to work with an individual, and actually I like to play the long-term game.
Uh-huh.
So it's more so about putting work to lead to that lifestyle. It doesn't have to be today.
You're kind of breaking up. So slow. What I need you. Hold on. I need you to repeat that. You were breaking up, and because on your headphones. Say it again. You're willing to work with somebody. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I said I was willing to work with someone. I'm not looking to go into a $300,000 a year. I would like to, but I'm being realistic and not looking to walk into a $300,000 a year relationship with a man, given my age and other things, and mostly my age. But if I'm more interested in the long-term game, if we lead to that or we get to that, we live a comfortable life, we actually grow and build, we can get to that lifestyle.
Somebody came in talking about take it easy on her. It's okay to dream. No, it's not okay. See, that's the problem. So many have been told that it's okay to dream. That's why you got so many black men walking around at 40 years old, still acting like a 25-year-old. Because you still dreaming about that goddamn rap career, or making it big on selling edibles or whatever the hell, or whatever. You always got some hustle. While you dreaming, other people are working. Don't wake me, I'm dreaming. No, Muggs, you need to wake up from the dream. No, it's not all right to dream. We need to stop that bull crap. Dreaming is for kids. Well, that means you're going to have to work. 32 years old. First off, let me just say.
To be honest with you, I guess because of the ambition.
I'm just being honest with you, man. Most 32-year-old women aren't going to not work. You're going to work. Mm-hmm. You can say whatever you want. Most 32-year-old women are going to have to work. You did not get married early when you were young, fertile, and at your highest. You're past the wall. That's just the reality. You can say whatever you want. You can have your standards. You can think what you want to about you, but you're average. You're average looking, and that's not an insult. You're average looking. You're not bad, but you're not Pam Grier, and you're over 30. Huh? The more likely reality is you. I don't know how much money you make, but you didn't go to college. I don't know how much money you make, but the more likely reality is, I said a woman can pretty much expect to get a man $10,000 times her for every point on the look scale. If you're a 6, you can expect a man making about $60,000 a year in Dallas, Houston, Austin. That means you'll be working. Most women have to work.
The thing is, I don't mind working as long as it's not physical work.
But it's still, okay. I asked, okay, that's cool. But it's still going to be 40 hours a week. Ain't going to be no part-time nothing.
It has to be 40.
Because you're going to need 2 incomes. You're going to have, okay, ma'am, you're going to have. So many of these women don't want to work. And ladies, if you don't want to work, that means you need to be ready to be a housewife early on. I mean, think about what you're saying. I see everybody else having to get up and go to work, but I don't want to work. So I'm going to just marry a man, and because I come standard with the vajayjay, I should have to not work for the rest of my life. And then he should just have to go. This is so unrealistic. I don't mind that you don't want to work if you actually were a wife and wife ready and would be willing to go ahead and marry and submit to the man who is going to have to pay all the bills. At your age, why making that much money marry a 32-year-old woman who's got 3 years before you start having high-risk pregnancy? You still got to meet him, go down the aisle. If you met him today, as soon as you be married is 6 months from now. And unless you got pregnant on the wedding night, you want at least a little time, 3 to 6 months before a baby came out. You'd be 33 and a half. And if you had a child every year, the first one, the second one, the third one will be high risk. Second intermission, we got to get these likes up to over 1,200. Over 1,000. Come on, man. Let's get these likes up. Yazzie, you in here again? Yazzie, I swear to God, the dude that you are dating, he must work 18 hours a day. Because you consistently in here complaining. Let's get the likes up, folks. Hit the like button. We've only moved 3. I'm going to go ahead and start it back up. But if we don't get to over 1,000, we're going to shut her down. See, what you're showing, ma'am, is a lot of women like you have this idealistic attitude, but you don't put hardcore numbers or reality to it. 1, your age is a hindrance for that. 2, And let guys who make that kind of money, I mean, let's just say 6 figures. I mean, realistically, do you want your husband to be making $100,000 or more? Listen, ladies, what she says.
Day one.
Listen what she says, ladies.
Right. All right,
All
ma'am. And that's 10% of the men.
Right.
Have you ever dated a man making that kind of money?
However,
Have you ever dated a man making that kind of money?
yes.
Okay. Let me back it up. Have you ever seriously had a serious relationship with a man making that kind of money?
No.
Huh?
No.
Okay. So date, that just mean y'all went out?
Dated for several months.
Okay. And why did it end? She dating high value $100,000, $200,000 a year men.
Picky?
She said that she's dated high value men making $100,000 more. I said seriously, like towards marriage. No. And then I asked her why didn't it work out. This woman actually parted her lips to say she ended it because she's too picky. Let's just let the rest of it go.
I used to have the perfect dynamic ideal.
Why are you so picky?
Oh.
What I mean, seriously, what's so special about you to be?
Lazy.
What's so special about you to make you so picky? Are you that fine? Are you that? I mean, to be that picky. I mean,
I'm not lazy.
so are you that fine? And she said, "I'm not lazy." A woman that thinks she's really an 8 would have said, "Yeah, I'm that fine," but she said, I'm not lazy, and I'm not that picky. I used to be that picky, but I'm not that picky anymore." Bish, you still want a man making 10% of what most men make, 6 figures or more. But she's not picky. I don't need a man in the 1%. I'll take a man who's 100,000. Oh. 4's who think they should have 9's. What? Neither is a mule. So what, ma'am? You work. Do you have an advanced degree? I mean, you didn't go to college. You go to the gym.
Is that all that matters? Is the degree?
What matters, ma'am, if you're average. You're average, ma'am. You're average. And that means average people get average people. And just like Rebecca Lynn Pope, the black woman who's married to a pastor, who was a matchmaker for black women, said she stopped working with women like you because you were so unrealistic. You can be picky, ma'am. See, that's the thing. I can't tell you not to be picky. I can just tell you.
I said I used to be picky. I am
Oh,
not
well, you're
currently
still
picky.
okay. You're still picky. Wanting a man. She says she used to be picky. Ladies, I need you to ask yourself, does this woman sound like she's still not picky? Forget the guys, and I know this is a sensitive subject, and I'm trying to keep it humorous, and because this is kind of sad. But ladies, does this 32-year-old woman sound like she's still not picky? I mean, really. Think about what men are hearing from a 32-year-old average woman. Talk about, I'm not super picky like I used to be. Wow. Making $100,000 a year at 32 years old? That's still... who is that? You dropped the B word. Did I, Sierra? What did I say, Sierra? What did I say? What did I say, Sierra? What did I say? Go ahead and type it in the chat room. picky. You didn't even know that $300,000 a year was a 1% man. You thought that's 10 or 20%. That shows that you have no
So
idea.
what price range should I be focusing on?
Ma'am, what I'm trying to say to you in the nicest way possible is you didn't want to tell me how much you make or what you do. All I know is you're 32 and you graduated from high school. All I know is you. Oh, here we go with that bullshit. Everybody stop. Here comes Sweet Lady 095. Here we go. You knew it was coming. A lot of colorists in here. Wow. Ma'am, that shit don't fly over here. Don't try that in my chat room. Don't try that in my Take that over to other low vibration places where that work. The argument is what it is. You're not going to bring that BS over here. No. Said you were with a guy for 8 years and you're not together because he wasn't ambitious enough. But you did not tell me that you are some high-end corporate exec somewhere at 32. So I don't know what ambitious means.
Corporate exec, no.
Okay. Do successful if successful men, high-earning men, don't approach you for serious relationship, that should tell you something. And when I said it's not like you're some high-end corporate exec somewhere, she said, well, not corporate, high school grad now. Ma'am, you inbox me. I know how much you say you make. It's laughable for what you're talking about. I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
That should tell you something. If the men that have the means you would like do not approach you for serious relationship, what does that tell you? Hey guys, guess what? Let's everybody look at her. Where is she at? I want to go ahead and see it. Let's highlight her. Joanne Panton. Let's get it, guys. Here we have another one. Here we have another one where if you don't just kiss their butt and everything they say or do, what do you hear? What do you hear? Joanne, Kevin don't respect black women's. Kevin don't respect black women. Kevin don't respect. That's what it is. I don't respect. Let's go ahead and show it, shall we? Joanne, you make sure that you are one of the first women to call in, and please explain such an insulting statement. You make sure you.
I'm trying not to get roasted on here.
I know.
So,
I'm not going to roast you. I'm actually trying to help you.
Saying that I was the problem.
No.
I appreciate you. I really do. I'm just saying that I was the problem.
What I think the problem is with so many black women like yourself is you're too picky for what you are. That is as simple as I can put it.
Correct.
You can't be that picky when you're like a 5. You have. I need to ask a question, a serious question to the women in the chat room, to the Joy Anns of the world. I said you cannot be that picky when you are like a 5. Is that true or is that false? Well, let me back it up. I know how y'all like to do. You can be as picky as you want to. But are you going to get the outcome that you say you want? Again, talking about average people. Average men are told all the time, why you on IG modeling this and that? You need to get an average woman and go make some average life. Well, then you average looking women need to get average men to go make an average life. So again, you make sure you call in and let me know how I'm supposed to respect you by lying to you. How I'm supposed to respect you by just telling you what you want to hear and letting you call me and say whatever you want to me. No,
To be
man.
an 8, 9, to be picky. Yes, ma'am, you are. You're not a classic beauty. You're not an unattractive woman. But I don't think you could tell me that you have. Okay. Have men told you, have the high value men in your life, high school or whatever, did they tell you that you were like the pretty girl in school?
I was the shy, quiet girl.
That's not what I asked you, ma'am.
So I wasn't.
The shy, quiet girl, if she was fine, the shy, quiet girl, if she was fine, she still got attention.
In high school? No.
Well, and because you did not go to college. What region of the country do you live in? North, east, south, west?
Yes.
East? Okay. In the east, do you get approached by high value white men?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
You do. Do you get approached by high? No.
This woman would have you believe that in Philadelphia, in New Jersey, New York City, Boston, that she gets approached by she get approached by Brad for a relationship. That's what she would have you believe. For serious relationship.
I don't want it, but yes.
Meaning marriage, those kind of things.
When you have to date to lead to marriage, I kind of, sabotage it before.
Okay, well, and therein lies a lot of the distortion in women. See, men who want to marry quickly. High value men will kick it with a woman who is a average looking woman, but they won't wife them. They know this. And this is what I'm trying to understand, ma'am, is you can have whatever standard you want, but if your life is not showing you that you're getting that. Okay, imagine, do you own a car?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Okay. All right. Imagine there's a car on the lot. And the dealer said it's the best car, whatever. And they want $100,000 for it. But cars like that car, that same model, that same make, everywhere else around the nation and in that neighborhood are selling for $50,000. Does it matter how much the dealer says how incredible this car is? Is the average person that has the money to buy that and in the market for that vehicle going to go buy the $100,000, or is he going to go buy the car that's priced like everything else is in the market?
Everything else?
Right. If you were a car, you are asking too much for the market. No one can tell you to lower your price, but no one's coming to buy you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
just to clarify, this is just based on my age, correct?
No, it's not just based on your age. It's also based on
age and my look that you gave.
What I can kind of gather from your SMV, and then your age, and then and then I just say what you're wanting. See, I think a lot of women need to understand, to want to be a stay-at-home wife, you need to have got that early. I'm going to be honest. Most of the guys who are my clients who make that kind of money, here's what they say. I'm just going to be brutally frank. Why in the hell would I pick some woman over 30 who's been out here working and proving that has already got work on her, and then I'm gonna set her down somewhere? No, I'm gonna go get me one fresh off the tree who I can train up. I'm not gonna go back and forth to do all this stuff. You've already been out here, ma'am.
Okay.
And most guys who have those kind of means, they'll date you, they'll say nice things to you, they'll have relations with you, but as far as getting serious with you, like wifing you, and directly approaching you, if a man is in the market for a wife, that means you're in the market, and so are all the other women. So the net of it is, if I were giving you advice off the rip, I would tell you, I'm going to say it, you need to lower your standard. Not just standard, you need to lower your list.
I've heard that before.
Well, but from who?
I've heard that before.
From who?
But my original question was about men with children.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's how we got here. But who'd you hear that from?
What do you mean?
Who'd you hear that you need to lower your list?
What?
You said you've heard you need to lower your standard. Who'd you hear it from?
Some men.
Friends? There's a delay, ma'am. That's
men.
from men. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there's a delay. I've been telling you since minute one. Okay, the men are telling you. Huh?
I'm trying to keep up.
Well, here's the thing. I've tried to say it in the nicest ways possible. But if men have told you need to lower your standards, I guess, I don't know if you think they're just trying to get you to do that to their benefit. I'm telling you, I don't know you. But I would say what I've heard and what I've seen, you're very much outside of what you're going to get on the open market. Now, you could win the lottery, but it's not very likely. What's likely is you're a high school grad who has some sort of job that you didn't want to disclose. You're 32. If you find someone, you're going to end up having to work a full-time job just like he's working. If you have children, it'll be 1, 2, whatever y'all work out. You're going to have that 12 weeks off, that FMLA leave, and you're going to be right back out there with them. Just like everybody else in the world. And it's good enough for everybody else. And if that's not what you want, I hear you. But that's what's far more likely than running up on a guy who's making, especially on the East Coast, you got to take that number. Like if you're in Philadelphia, New York City area, you got to take that $300,000 number up and jump it up to around $700,000. Those men are in one half of the 1%. And see here, and I would say this, I got to run. This is where so many black women end up dying alone. Overvaluing.
Oh my.
Yes, dying alone. You're 32. You got 3 more years before you become high risk pregnancy. Did you watch Rebecca Lynn Pope's video, the one she talked about why she's no longer a matchmaker?
I did watch the video, yes.
Okay, you're one of the women she talked about. And this is why so many black women like yourself end up dying alone, because you have this impossible standard.
I used to be. I'm not currently.
Ma'am, even what you're saying right now is ridiculous. Even what you're saying right now is unrealistic. If it was higher, then that just means you were in the stratosphere crazy. What you're saying right now is still unrealistic. So that tells me something. You've come down. You still need to keep on coming down to being average. The way you look, the way you earn, everything else. Just keep on coming down there. Because see, white women, Hispanic women, Asian women, Middle Eastern women, they don't walk around overvaluing themselves to the rate black women do. But then they don't also run around talking about all the single ladies, I'm INDP, whatever, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man. See, they don't feed that into their culture. Their women are taught that you need a man. A man marrying will help you. 2 incomes is better than 1. And yes, it's better to have a blue collar man who's making good living to go along with your white collar lifestyle versus you being by yourself with this impossible list. Because, ma'am, you've got 3 more years before you become 35. From 35 on, it falls off the cliff. If you make it to 40, it's pretty much a wrap, especially on the East Coast. So I hope this was beneficial. But as far as a man with kids, for the things you're talking about you want, you'd be lucky to find a man with kids who would, a higher earning man with kids who would deal with you. That's just straight up.
Okay, that's nice. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
All right. But yeah, keep us in the loop.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. I want to know what was insulting about telling a black woman that you can expect what the average American woman can expect for a life. A life to where you marry an average man making an average salary, living an average life when you're average looking. You didn't go to college. You didn't go to Harvard or Princeton. Why is this an insult? When did it become an insult to be average? All right. Here's what's going to happen. Joanne, what you're going to do in our chat room is, number one, you're going to make sure that you have all the channels in the background. You need to only be on Zoom. Please close out YouTube. Don't be looking in the chat room. If we're going to talk, we're going to talk. It will be much better if you have on a plugged in headset to your phone, not Bluetooth, not speakerphone. I am trying to run a show, Joanne, so I'll let you speak, but when I start to speak, please do not try to just speak over me, because it just makes it hard for people to hear in the background. When did this become such an insult? As if what average people have is not good enough. Joanne, did you? Okay, you're looking at the camera. There you go. Did you hear what I asked about as far as the the Zoom instructions?
Yeah, I closed out YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Wait, let me make sure it's all closed out. Okay.
Okay. Before we get started, how old are you?
25.
25. So, why don't I respect black women?
For me, okay, when you said bish, for me, I just felt like the way you were saying it, it was very demeaning, because I feel like it's very hard to say like one size fits all, because I do work in the wedding industry and I see all types of couples.
Ma'am, I asked you, how is it that I don't respect black women?
I just felt like the way you spoke to her was somewhat demeaning, and just from
Okay, let me stop you right here. I'm going to stop you right here. You said the way I said bish.
Yeah, that was very demeaning. I feel
Excuse
like...
Excuse me, young lady. Did I call her a bitch?
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
It is.
It is not the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Young lady, it is not the same thing.
Well, where did bish come from? Isn't it like...
Okay, here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to play with you. Look, you can either tell me how I don't respect black women. I did not call her. First off, I didn't call her a bitch. This is a rebroadcast, a reaction video to what she was saying. And now you can either justify what you're saying, but you're not going to just gaslight me. Bitch and bish are two different things. And here's the funny thing, black woman, you guys call each other bitch all the time. Bitch, bitch. Well, but that's not the point. That's not the point. I said black women do it. So please tell me how a black man who addresses black women, who has black women on his show, and his clients, and on another group who are in the chat room right now, how I don't respect black women. Tell the black women how I don't respect them.
I just said it.
No, you said because I said the word bish, and then you start going on to talk about you being in the wedding industry, and while it's about to be United Colors of Many times.
The way you were speaking to her was very demeaning.
Okay, well, and then how should I have been speaking? So how was I speaking? How was it demeaning? Give me an example of what I said to her.
I just don't feel like there's one size fits all.
Okay, ma'am. I want you to be clear. How was I speaking to her?
One size does not fit
ma'am,
all.
But see, that is not. What did I say to that woman that was demeaning?
I just said it.
No, you didn't. So apparently, no. Okay, ma'am, maybe I'm slow. Maybe I'm old. But you did not say, you said one size does not fit all. That could have been a statement I said to anyone. So anybody that says that is being demeaned.
I feel like your tone, the way you spoke to her, you saying bitch, to me, that was not being respectful.
Again, you can have whatever feeling you want, but you do realize that was a rebroadcast. Did you catch what the woman wrote to me in an inbox?
No.
Okay. So what I'd like for you to do is when this rebroadcast, you can go back and look at all the women say that, no, sis, you're off base. Kevin has respect for black women. As a matter of fact, you still haven't said what specifically I said to her, other than my. Hold on, young lady. Other than my. It
might be a situation where.
I've already told you you're not going to talk over me. Other than my tone. Men don't speak like women. You can unmute yourself. She doesn't even know she's muted. You don't even know you're muted. You can't overtalk me. I've already tried to let you understand that you cannot overtalk me.
Okay, I mean, I really don't have anything else to say. That was it.
Well, okay. So, Joyanne, what you said is a bunch of feelings. You haven't said what I've done. You said because I used the word bish. I didn't call her bitch, and I didn't say that to that woman. And it was in a joking way. So that's number one. Number two, the way in which I spoke to her was demeaning. And when I ask you for examples, you just say your tone.
Yeah,
So how does did you have mom? So if I were, would your father speak to women that way?
No.
Was he in the house with you when you grew up coming up?
Yes, he was.
Right. And do you have a boyfriend now or a husband?
No, I don't.
Do you ever want to get married?
Of course.
All right. Do you expect men to speak like women?
No, but I have very respectful men in my family, and I know how.
Good, but you're not going to. But ma'am, you're not going to marry a man in your family. You're going to marry a man from the public.
Yeah, and they're going to be very respectful from.
Really? So are you engaged now?
No, I'm not. I'm single.
When's the last time you've had a serious, committed relationship?
A year ago.
Good. How long did it last?
2 years.
So 2 years. So you're 25. So a year ago you were 24 and lasted 2 years. Were you in college?
Yeah.
2 years. Over almost 10% of your life. Why'd that end?
I mean, as you grow older, you develop more of an outlook of what you want long term. So it was just a learning process for me.
So it ended because you got older?
No, just because, yeah, you kind of just figure out what you want more so.
So you ended it or he ended it?
I ended it.
Was he in college as well?
Yes.
And when you're in the wedding industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
At what age do you see your counterparts typically getting married?
It varies. A lot of my brides, some of my brides are
I say
in their
I say typically.
typically probably late 20s.
If you had to give a mean age, plus or minus 3 years, what age would it be?
Probably 28, 29.
28 or 29? I would give it 26. 26 plus or minus 3 years. That would be 23 to 29. Most
I
women,
haven't had any
most women aren't
bride.
getting most women aren't getting married after 30. If you're in the industry, you know that. So
There's a lot of, I've had quite a few brides.
okay, ma'am. I did, and the exception doesn't disprove the rule. This is old industry knowledge. I'm an image consultant, ma'am. I'm not just a guy on YouTube who's talking noise. You may be in the bridal industry. I'm not going to dispute that, but what I'm saying is, at the net of it, most women are getting married in their early 20s, especially post college. And I'm curious to hear a woman that was raised by her father, who's talking about these men are going to be respectful. That's cool. But you had a 2-year relationship that ended, and you're single now. What's the delay or holdup in actually finding the kind of man that you would want to be a wife to?
I mean, it's just really just doing interviews, going on dates, and trying to find somebody that I feel like is a match for me to be with long term.
I can understand that. Are your parents from here or from another place?
Yeah, I'm Jamaican.
You're Jamaican. Is your father actively helping you vet men?
No. I mean, I asked them for advice. Like I asked my brother, asked my dad for advice, but
So, but why?
just to make sure that I'm
No. What I'm asking, sis, is I'm asking why isn't your dad actively helping you vet men?
I mean, as a woman, like, of course, like, I'm a woman, so they'll probably understand, you know, guys better. So is this
Are your
making
mom
sure?
and dad still married?
No,
Okay. Were they married when you were, how long were they married?
15 years
15 years. And did they divorce before you went to college or after?
before.
Oh, sorry to hear that. About what age were you when they divorced?
7.
Oh, and you were raised in the house with dad?
Yeah.
So he had custody of you?
It's all right. So basically, I grew up in Jamaica until I was 13.
Okay.
So I grew up with my dad. My mom came here first.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I moved with my mom.
So so who'd you spend most of the time with, your mom or your dad in the house?
Probably my dad, but I mean, it's always, I've always had them both.
Right. I get you have both parents, but like if your parents divorced at 7 years old, during your formative dating years, like your teen years, were you living with your father or your mother?
My mom.
Okay. And were there any, and your brothers weren't there?
My brother's, he lived with us.
Okay. And is he younger than you?
He's older.
Cool. And is your mom remarried?
Yeah. We had a stepdad.
Oh, okay. So you had a stepdad in the house with mom?
Mm-hmm.
And was he an active parent, or was he more just like your dad was the guy who ran the show and he just kind of gave guidance?
He was active, but I wouldn't necessarily talk to him about like dating and stuff like that.
And
But
the reason I'm asking, young lady, is
Mhm.
because you're 25,
Mhm.
and it is unusual to have. When you said your dad was in the house, I don't know many men who raise their daughters in the house who daughters don't actively work with their father and the men in their family to help them vet. But now it makes more sense. I mean, your mother and father were not together, so your mom remarried and dad was a stepdad, so it makes sense. Almost like the typical American black family where the women are in charge. So when I ask you who's helping you, you say you run it by your father and this and that, and that's cool. But do you see do you see non-black people moving that way when they're younger?
What do you mean, like?
When you see it, when you see let's say you see an Asian young woman coming to get married, are her parents actively involved? Do you see a father there? Are her parents paying for it? You see a Caucasian,
Yeah.
okay. But when you see a black woman, do you actively see mother and father there? Dad is paying for everything.
Yeah, mostly most of my weddings.
Most of your weddings come from. I want to be clear. Most of your weddings, when a black woman comes in, she has a mother and father, and a dad's paying for
Yeah.
it. Do you think that's the norm or the exception?
It's the norm. Like I would say, majority of my weddings, the
I mean,
parents
the norm for the norm for the country.
for the country, that when they're getting married,
Hmm?
yeah,
Okay.
I feel
All
like
right. All right. Well, let me explain to you. And you're 20. You're 25, and you live in, I'm assuming, the East Coast.
yeah,
All right. I don't need to know exactly where. Black women are married at a rate of 26%. That's 1 out of 4 black women are married.
hmm
80% of black children in this country are born to single mothers. That means there's no father. They're not living with their father. It is statistically impossible for the majority of black women who marry at such a low rate to come from intact families where men are paying for weddings. Ma'am, that's just not the truth. You can say your hold on, ma'am. Again, this is not my opinion or your opinion. This is just the facts, data, statistics, and the numbers.
yeah. I do agree with your facts, but if you look at like more psychologically, like if your parents are married, it's a good chance that you're gonna get married, right? It's gonna be easier for you to find a guy.
Well, then
So
how's that working? How's that working out for you?
for me, it's just a process. Like I said, it's doing interviews.
It's a long process you're doing by yourself, though.
No, I definitely have male men in my life. I have my dad. I have my brother.
But you just
So
said your dad isn't involved in this. You
I
run
told
stuff
you
by
that
him.
I told you that he was. I do.
No, ma'am. I asked you. So I guess we have different levels of involved. Just by running stuff by dad that you're deciding is not really. You're in charge of the process. You're just asking him an opinion about choices you make. See, I find it as in my business, I work heavily with matchmakers. I work heavily with image consultants. I mean, not image consultants, personal trainers, event planners. I work with a lot of people in society. I've been married. And I find it interesting. I've been married twice, actually. I find it interesting that black women who especially are wedding planners or in the wedding industry, you have a bird's eye view at the disparity that black women have when it comes to paying for a wedding, who shows up at the wedding. You are not telling me that you honestly see men in equal proportion in that environment. No, ma'am, you're not. That's not the truth.
I'm not being dishonest.
Okay.
I am telling you, like,
Okay.
I always see their dads.
Their dads will be there, but dad's not paying. Okay, so net of it, you're 25. By what age do you plan? You had a 2-year relationship. It ended a year ago. By what age would you like to be married?
I mean, I guess like right now it's just like you said, I am dating people, so it's just
Is marriage a top priority for you?
yeah.
Okay, so if it's a top priority, just like I'm assuming, are you going after marriage like you went after your degree?
Yeah.
All right. So if that's the case, you went after your degree with some sort of plan and some sort of passion. I'm asking, by what age would you like to be married?
I mean, hopefully, I'm hoping to meet somebody this year. So it would probably be like a year. I would say a guy should know in a year.
Okay. So you want to be married by what age?
I mean, it just depends on when I meet someone. So if I meet someone this year, it'll be like a year. I would hope that they would know they want to get married within a year.
So again, if you meet somebody within this year, so by 27.
Yeah.
All right. And all right, you want to be married by 27. Before your previous 2-year relationship, were you dating a lot of guys, or did you have another relationship?
Another relationship.
How long was that one?
A year.
Okay, so you've had a 2-year relationship and a 1-year relationship. So you're kind of a relationship girl.
Yeah.
All right. And did you end that first one too?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure you know in Black America, when a divorce is filed, it's filed 80% of the time by the woman. Black women end their relationships at some of the highest rates in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're an intelligent, educated woman who has all these things going for her, why are you picking so poorly? Why are you wasting a year and 2 years? That's 3 years. That's 3 years. That's over 10% of your life.
I feel like the majority of like younger women, we kind of choose poorly.
This
just
is why,
because-
but I agree. That's why fathers are so important. That's why fathers are so important to be in this process, because you're right. You choose poorly, and your own personal track record proves that. But yet your father's still not actively involved, according to you.
Okay.
How could a man who doesn't have respect for Black women know that and tell it to you in such a clear way? How could a Black man who have this kind of grasp of facts, data, and statistics tell you these truths if I didn't have any respect for you?
Okay.
Okay, but there's a question. How could I do this if I had no respect? And your answer is okay.
I told you like from the beginning, I felt like the way, the conversation, it just felt very
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. When you get married, because you're an attractive woman, would you like to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant?
No.
How many children would you like to have?
3.
3. And I'm assuming you would like your kids to be able to go to college like you did.
Mm-hmm.
The American dream, kids have cars and pay for school. How much money do you think your husband would have to make in order to support a wife and 3 children?
Definitely, I guess. I mean, I always plan on working.
I get it, but how much would he have to make because you don't want to have to pay the bills?
On his own, I guess, like you were saying with her, it would have to be, I guess, 150, 300 and up.
150 to 300, that's a big gap.
Yeah. I mean, I think 150 is like enough.
What city or region do you live in?
I live in Orlando.
Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
$150,000 a year. Orlando's an expensive city, ma'am.
It's not that bad.
Okay, let's look at the cost of living in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
What's the cost of living in Orlando? Cost of living Orlando. What do you think? Oh, you're right. It's 100.6.
Sure,
it's 100.6. It's 100.6. But no one goes to Orlando. So let's $150,000. Ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
a single man here in Atlanta, which is close to Orlando, making $120,000 can just afford to have a high value lifestyle. Mm-hmm. That means you would be making 75, he's making 75. Are you making 75 or more right now?
Yeah.
All right. So do you feel rich?
No, I'm comfortable.
You're cool, but you got a car payment?
Yeah.
All right. You got a house payment?
No.
All right. You do want a house though, right?
Of course.
Okay, of course. And do you want a nice mid-sized sedan, preferably something European?
No, I'm Jamaican. We like the.
Would you like a nice sedan, or do you want to ride a bike?
I mean, I got a nice SUV already, so.
Cool. That's right now. That's
Yeah.
on your money.
Yeah.
But the man that comes in has to replace your income. And how much are you making roughly? More than 75, less than 150?
Yeah.
All
But
right.
I'm the type of person like,
But ma'am,
always,
what I'm trying to get you to understand is he has to come in and at least replace your income.
yeah.
Right. But that income is enough for just you, right? To live cool.
Mm-hmm.
Could you be cool with 3 kids?
With 150?
With what you're making right now?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
See, notice how that pause happened? No. I'm cool
Yeah.
right now at 25 with my SUV living the hot girl summer in Orlando. But I could not put 3 babies on that, much less get them in cars and get them on off to college on that little bit of money. So how in the hell can somebody be making 150 and have you and 3 kids and you be cool?
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening.
Okay, so it would have to be more than 100.
No, it would have to be closer to 350,000. The number I keep talking about, and ma'am, what I'm trying to get to is the men that make that kind of money. They're not average. They're leaders. They're higher ups.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get that way by being tender. You get that way by being ambitious.
Yeah.
Right. Were the guys you broke up with ambitious?
No.
Right. But guess what? Men like me and the guys I deal with are. And what's the oldest man you would consider dating right now?
35.
35. Sweetheart, you better move that up to 40. That's where you better start from. The average man earning $300,000+ in this country does not get there until his late 30s. See, this is what I mean. So many of you young ladies who don't have your fathers and things like that, and you come here and hear me talking to a woman that I did my level best to try to be respectful of. You said I'm talking rude. Well, guess what? Men that make the kind of money you're talking about, they don't want to hear that kind of stuff from women like you because it sounds very much like you want men to be women.
I don't. Like,
But
I'm
that's
very,
what I'm saying. That's what it sounds like. And your life, ma'am, whether you know it or not, is set up like a lot of young black women with this feminist kind of left-leaning, I don't need no man. I'm not here. I'm just trying to let you understand, man. I'm not saying it is you. But your biological father didn't raise you. You had a stepdad. Stepdad did not have
My
power.
dad raised me until I was 13.
Okay.
And then I moved here.
All right. But you were raised in okay. Dad raised you. But
Yeah.
in the years where your sexuality was really in the market, mom was there and a stepfather was there.
My stepdad was like.
But he just okay, young lady. All I have to know is this: your dad was not. When someone came to pick you up for a date, they picked you up from your mother's house, not your father.
My stepdad, like my stepdad.
Your stepdad, okay. Your stepdad, if you needed your ass whooped, could your stepdad do it?
He definitely punished us. He didn't hit us.
That's not what I asked you.
My dad didn't hit us.
No, man, but your dad could have whooped if you needed your ass whooped. Could he have done it?
He definitely punished us a lot.
I asked you a specific question, young lady, and for a reason. If your biological father needed to whoop your ass, could he have done it?
No.
He could not.
No.
Why?
Because he's still in Jamaica, so.
No, I'm talking about, see, now you want to play games. You were there with him up until age 13, right? So
Yeah, I lived in Jamaica.
So if your father needed to whoop your ass while you were in Jamaica, could he have done it?
Yeah, I lived
Right.
with him.
All right. He could have. Whether he did or not is irrelevant. When you moved with your mother and your stepdad, if you needed your ass whooped, could he have done what your father in Jamaica could have done?
No.
Exactly. And you know that. It's like I said, most black women are raised under matriarchal feminine leadership. And you have no idea what it means to be under a man's true lead. But yet, you want men in the top 1% of earners to be these beta male bitch boys who don't say the word bitch because you think it's insulting to call a woman a bitch. Where do they make these? Where do they make these guys at? Where do these guys go out and make $300,000? Please tell me the factory, because there are a lot of black women that would love to know where to get a $350,000 beta bitch boy.
Yeah, personally, because you're assuming that I'm feminist. I'm not.
I didn't assume you were a feminist, ma'am. No, ma'am, I didn't assume you were a feminist. I said your life is set up like a lot of feminists. I didn't say what you are. I don't know you.
In our household, my stepdad, he was the
So
head,
who's gonna walk you down the aisle? If and when you do find, who's gonna walk you down the aisle? Your biological father?
my biological father.
Exactly. So your stepfather, all he had was bills. He didn't have any real he didn't have any real corporal authority.
He punished us.
He could punish you, but as long as mama signed on, he could punish you as long as mama. He could punish you as long as mama signed off on it. See, what I need you young ladies to understand is far too many young black women like this could have futures. But does anyone feel like this young lady, who's an attractive young lady, is really set up to be dealing with a high value man? A guy who's making the kind of money you're talking about making. You've already shown that oh, we got the wrong thing on, wrong screen. You've already shown that you can't pick men worth a damn on your own. Can't pick a man worth a damn on your own. When you're hearing when you hear a man talk like a man, it hurts your feelings some kind of way. And I'm saying, man, right now, being in the wedding industry, you know, if you ain't married by 30, the chances for women to get married drop off the cliff. And you're not approaching marriage in a serious way, and you want to be married in a year, I would say, here's what I would suggest. Get around a bunch of women who are marriage minded, who understand what it's going to take, and get away from some of these girl power kind of places, because it may make you feel good, but I'm going to tell you this, man. The men who are making the kind of money you're talking about, even on the lower end, are not going to be a girlfriend talk to you like a woman. That's what Rebecca Lynn Pope, black woman, right here on YouTube, married matchmaker, stop dealing with black women because of their unrealistic standards. And when the first thing she said is, men do not talk or speak like your girlfriends. Stop expecting men to be that way. And if what you think I was being disrespectful or whatever, ma'am, be prepared to have a life with a lot of cats or a beta male, because you won't have a male, you won't have a man who is a provider. I will tell you that. But I'll let you go ahead and have the final say before you get up out of here.
I don't have anything to say.
Well, if that's the case, have a good day. If you black women who want black men to be leaders and get out here and have to fight the world so you can live in the lap of luxury, you better understand that you're not going to get some little teddy bear. You're going to have a man that has to get out there and fight. The man is going to have to fight to bring home the bacon, to keep you and the family fed, to make it to where his boys aren't fodder for the prison industrial complex and all this other kind of stuff. Cannot be a punk. So I refuse to have men apologize for being men. You can unmute yourself. Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can now.
Hi. So I just had a question. I am 27 years old and I am married. I just wanted to know, what is your advice on maintaining a healthy relationship?
Well, first off, are you guys in any sort of couples ongoing counseling or therapy?
No.
Okay.
We've been married for a year and a half now.
All right. Are you so you're still just out of newlyweds phase. So more than likely your friends are all still single.
Yes.
You need to get around married people and get away from your single friends. Married life is completely different than single life. And when you have issues, single women will give you single advice. The misconception often is you need to go to couples counseling, that kind of stuff, when a problem happens. No, it's like getting an annual teeth. It's like getting your teeth cleaned twice a year, right? It's preventative maintenance. You prevent. Know that you and your husband are going to have problems. Do you have any children?
No.
Do you plan on having children?
Possibly.
What will be the determining factor? Do you want kids?
I would like kids, but I don't know. Just seeing how everything is right now in the world, I just feel it would be a little selfish to bring a child in right now. I'm not.
When was there a better time to bring a kid into the world?
I don't know. I guess just the way that things are going.
Ma'am, what I'm asking is, when was it a better time? When was the world perfect and idyllic to bring a child into the world?
Yeah, it's never been.
Never been and never will be. That's a human condition. Does your husband want children?
Yeah.
Does he have children?
No.
Did you know he wanted children before you accepted his proposal for marriage?
Yes. I would like children as well. I do.
But
it's
so
not that I don't.
Okay, so are you on birth control?
No.
Okay. If you were to get pregnant, would you carry the child to term?
Of course, yes.
All right. So you're not actively trying to seek pregnancy, but if it happened, you'd be happy?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
It didn't sound like it to me. It sounded like you really don't want to have kids because of what's going on in the world.
You're right. Yeah, I'm not trying.
And that's a single woman's mindset. Right there. That's a single woman. Your husband wants children. And he made it known prior to your proposal. You accepted the proposal. Give that man his children.
We've spoken about this lately as well. He feels the same.
Exactly. But unfortunately, in this country, you have the right of last refusal. You hold all the birthing cards. That's why you need to get around married people, because you talk to single women, they will tell you, girl, your body, your choice, and this and that. No, ma'am. No. You took the vows. You know what it means. That man wants children. Give him his children. Because that's foul if you don't. Because you damn sure feel some kind of way if he came home and said, hey, hon, I got another woman pregnant. I got some babies on the way. You'd be mad, right?
Yes.
And then, if you said, well, but you didn't want to have me no children, so I wanted to respect your choice. So I understand Ruth. What was it? Was it Abraham and Sarah? Sarah, I get it. Your shit ain't working right now. So I'm going to go ahead over here with this maiden, and we're going to take care of that. Are you a Christian?
No.
All right. Did you have a Christian ceremony?
No. We actually have not had a formal wedding yet.
So you're not truly married?
We are married legally. We just didn't have the ceremony.
Okay.
But we are legally married.
You're legally married, so you actually have the certificate, 2 witnesses, and all that stuff.
Yes.
So curious, why didn't you guys actually have a ceremony?
It just wasn't part of our plans. We opted to buy property first. We just didn't want to spend the money on a wedding.
Makes perfect sense to me. Makes perfect sense. Makes great practical sense. Did you want a wedding?
At the At the time, no. It wasn't a big deal to me.
But
At
you,
some point, I would like a wedding, but
all
I
right, no,
know
your
that
husband ain't gonna
having,
hear. No, your husband ain't gonna hear this. Did you want a wedding? Did you?
honestly, it was, I, no. At the time, if I had to choose between our two flat that we currently have now with our two tenants and having a wedding,
I
I
didn't.
choose the two
I
flat
didn't
with
give.
the.
That's not what I asked. Why do black women have such a hard time just being direct? I didn't ask if it was a choice. I said, did you want a wedding?
And you're talking about at that time, right?
Ma'am, if you had all the money you had, would you have wanted a wedding, or would you still have opted to not have one? If your family was paying for it, would you have opted to say no? Don't give us the money. Did you want a wedding? Did you want the dress? Did you want people to see you? Did you want the public acknowledgement? Did you want to throw the bouquet? Did you want the cake? Did you want the pictures? Did you want the trip?
Yes, it would be nice.
All right, then stop fucking lying. Then. I mean, I'm no offense,
not
man.
lying.
No,
I'm
no,
just
ma'am, no,
trying
ma'am, no,
to-
no, ma'am. I said it that way because I'm trying to lighten it up. Because the truth is, you did want a wedding. You just made a practical decision. I get it, and it's the same thing you're doing with kids. You're still trying to make a practical decision, and that is a single woman mindset. See, the kudos for not going out to waste money on a wedding, but I don't think you serve yourself any purpose by denying what you really wanted. It doesn't mean you have to go do it. He just needs to know, yes, I would have wanted a marriage, but we don't have it that way. See, I'm a very firm believer, and you speak things into existence. You could have, you don't know, that last woman that was there could have had a wedding package to give you. You don't know. Your husband may just say he told you he wanted kids. You want a wedding. Would he be happy if you turned up pregnant?
Yes, I'm
Would
sure.
would you be happy if you could walk yourself down the aisle and have everybody say, "Ooh, look at her in her dress"?
Yeah.
Then stop cutting off the possibility. Just acknowledge it. Because here's what happens too often. It's all good now because there's been no problems. But when human beings, or in particular women in this case, feel like they've had to make concessions and sacrifices and not get what they want, that's when the frustration sinks in. And that's what tears relationships apart. It's the lack of truth, which is why I said counseling. You got to be able to tell the truth to your partner, and vice versa. You two are all you got. And if you can't be honest with each other, you're gonna find someone to talk to. You don't want him talking to another woman. He don't want you talking to another man. Mm-hmm. This is why it's best to be around successfully married couples in counseling in a proactive way and sitting up under something that's bigger than yourself. Love is great, but marriage ain't about love.
Right.
And what's bigger than you two right now? There are no kids. There are no nothing. There needs to be something. So that's another thing a counselor can help you kind of map out: a plan for your marriage, a vision for your marriage and your family. Whether or not it's perfect, it won't be perfect, but you'll at least know you're working together towards a common goal. You're 20, what?
27.
27. Your husband is going to chronicle your life, and vice versa. When your husband shuffles off that mortal coil, you as the widow will be there when they lower him into their ground and put that tombstone on to say, when he was going from here to here, I was here for this many years and he was this kind of man. That's something his tombstone can't tell. That's something his friends can't say. Only thing his wife can say. Children can only say, I've been there for this part of it. You've been there for the ride. Got it?
Yeah.
All right then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, man. I got to get up out of here. It's after midnight. What was that? Oh, yeah. 25-year-old young lady. Get around feminine relationship minded women, because you're one of those kind of women They could go either way. You could go down the route to where you could actually end up happily married on down the line. But I'll be honest. You also strike me as one of these kind of women who could look up and be 29, 32 years old and it's not happening. And you just become hell on wheels. And we see them all over social media. I don't want to see no more of them. And you don't have to be. You don't have to be. Join our group, The Mix. Later on this week, we're going to talk about you middle class dudes talking about polyamorous relationships, and you can barely afford the house you're living in. You think you're going to have fine, whatever. And we got to talk about this height thing with black women. Black women, please start doing the numbers. Everything you say you want from a man, he has to be this height or tall. Ask yourself, how many men fit this category? He has to make this amount of money or more. Start putting pen to paper. That's one of the things I've done over here is actually helped you start putting pen to paper to what it is you say you want. I don't judge what it is you say you want. I just say, what is it? And what is it going to cost? I mean, think about it. The previous caller. That woman, no, she's making 75 plus. She ain't gonna marry no guy making 110. She can't afford 3 kids. So he's got to make enough money to cover her salary, because we know how women think. Like, people think, we got to cover my salary. Then he got to pay for baby 1, baby 2, baby 3. Who's in here? Fit Mom? Somebody hit me up last week talking about the daycare, the care for their infant alone is $2K a month. $2K for daycare and that kind of stuff. $2K. Especially if you step me in 135. That's talking about homeschooling. Or you're going to be living in a nice suburban neighborhood with those gated communities, going to feed into a nice public school to where you can be on the PTA board. I mean, be on the band booster and PTA. Come on, we know what we're talking about. Then the men who make that kind of stuff, they are not going to change no diapers. They coming home, dinner needs to be cooked. Kids' homework needs to be done. You need to be standing with slippers and a drink. Daddy's home. Or the kid's already in bed. And the thing is, if that's what you really want, it's available out there, but only for a very small group. And you got to look the part in order to qualify for those kind of men. They set the standard. And if it's only that or none, then a lot of women are going to just leave this life with nothing. Average people get average things, and that should not be an insult. Is it an insult to somebody to say you're a 2.0 student? You can still go to college. You can't go to Princeton, but you can go to college. You can get an education. You can't go to Harvard, but you can still go. We accept these things, requirements and things like that, when it comes to admission to the PWIs and all those other kind of things. But we don't accept it when it comes to relationship. And that's the difference. Dating, you can do all you want in dating. But relationship, no, it requires different. It requires commitment, sacrifice, knowing what you want and what you're willing to accept and what he and you both bring to the table. That's what I wanted to bring up today. So to the woman who hit me up, I didn't say your name. I wasn't rude. I think your inbox to me was garbage. I think it was garbage. I did not make you look anything. You made yourself look as though you are. I didn't do it. And you're not going to make me feel uncomfortable or say I did something to you that I didn't. The record is pretty clear. And I will say this, going in the future, for any woman, in the future, if you do, for anyone, if you do have something that does not make you look in the best light, better to approach that person with some humility other than fire. You don't sit around and blame me for what you did and then ask me to do a favor. Where does that work? Where does that work? You did this, you did that, you made me look. Oh, do me a favor, take that down. If you want a private session, you should have booked one. Anyway, till next time. Peace. We are gone. No, who was that? Hey, Andre. Oh, Andre. Let me talk about my group, The Mix. Don't leave yet. The Mix. We're going to start having mixes, quarterly mixes. I cannot wait to start putting up wedding invitations, wedding pictures, baby announcements, all that kind of stuff on a black man's channel who's an image consultant. I'm not a matchmaker. I'm not a dating coach. I do what I can. So here's the question. If people are meeting, interacting, networking, getting flued out, whatever, with somebody who's not even doing this for real, where are all the black people who are the therapists? Where are the black people who are the wedding planners, the relationship? Where are the black professionals to help with the shit that we need? Where are you? Want to advertise on the channel? I'm not giving it to you for free. It's a business. You want 1-800 get help? Hey, let me know. Let me check out your stuff. Where is the assistance? But when it's talking about show your work, I cannot wait to when that happens. You see a man talk about, you're cordially invited to the wedding of Keith Henry and Gidget, soon to be Henry. They met over at the Mix watch party with Love Jones, because I'm going to be sitting right up there. And you know I'm going to come in a cold ass tux. I'm going to be just, your godfather going to be just, I'm going to come to the wedding like this, just. Oh, we gonna clown. You're gonna see them folks just smiling, talking about going to Zamunda and elephants and shit. She's your queen to be. You're like, I can't believe it. I mean, even if you get one, that's a win. You get one happily married couple, that's a win. Join the Mixed group only if you are serious about networking, doing business. I am not looking for any bull crap. You will get sniped over there if you come over there on that BS. No. Go over there. Go on over there. This is meant to be a select group. Not limited, just select. Anyway, I got to get up out of here. It's almost, I got something coming up. It's almost 1 o'clock. Hell yeah. Till the next time. Peace. We are gone. Join me on Patreon for streams you will only see there. Monday, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Today's Patreon. Woo! Join me on IG for videos you will only see in the frat room. When they're up, they're up. When they're gone, they're gone. Show ideas, requests, things like that. Hit me up at bykevinsamuels.com. If you would like to book your one-on-one private session with me, this is where you do it.
Before the guess I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say.
Good night.